He is of Georgian descent. He was born in Germany, but he's been living in Spain since he was 15. So that brings to mind the most important fighters to their respective countries, and certainly he's going to be on some people's list. But Bisping, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine what kind of pressure this brings as like being like the only person from a country that kind of like spearheads an entire movement and like puts that country on the map. I can only imagine what that pressure feels like. It must be an immense burden to carry, and only a certain special type of individual could do that.
Luckily, it comes with preferential matchmaking.
RJ, Zhang Weili, okay, the Chinese champion. Remember her name. She's spearheading a movement for what, 1.3 billion people. Of course, she's got to be on there. Islam Makhachev, right? There's a lot of Dagestanis, but he's the only champion right now. Of course, when you think of Dagestan, you think of Khabib, but he has passed the torch since to Islam Makhachev. But then, of course, that brings us to South Africa's own Dricus du Plessis, okay? They put the nation on the map. There's a lot of fighters coming through from South Africa right now. Some incredible talent, Bobby. But yeah, Dricus du Plessis, there we go. That's the list. Again, the pressure these guys must feel.
Not bad, not bad. Interesting list. When I made this list, I thought about when you see these videos, you'll see the video of the person, they come home and they got the belt, or they can just go home and there's just this crazy crowd just going nuts after them. And every person I picked on this list has that feel. So number one, Conor McGregor. You're gonna see the entire country go nuts. You know, everybody's drinking and just in honor of him. You know what I mean? So Conor's number one. Number two, all of Mexico, Brandon Moreno.
Yeah.
Brandon Moreno's the Mexican god, you know? And so when I'm over in Mexico, that's all they talk about. And that impact that you see. And then my last one, you said, I don't know where to put this guy. You could pick him in Russia, you could put it Sweden, you could put his just anything. This guy has a following like no other in terms of when it comes to that Muslim background. Like I saw a video of him trying to get out in New York, and it was so crazy. Like they had the streets all blocked off, thousands of people were just everywhere. And so every person on that list has a real impact no matter where they go. It doesn't have to be their country. They can be in another person's country and still get that same feel.
RJ always tries to make his list very different, so I'm looking forward to this one.
I hate to disappoint you. I kind of went standard operating procedure here. Dricus du Plessis, champion in South Africa. The country went crazy for him. Weili, obviously. So I heard that once she became champion, that the Chinese broadcasting companies, like, went from like 3 million in advertising to like 50. Like she absolutely completely transformed like the MMA like industry out there. And then Conor McGregor. I mean, he's biggest star ever in the history of the sport, biggest star in combat sports currently, and he's from Ireland. I mean, he could have been from anywhere, and he'd be the most influential guy there. Sorry to disappoint you.
Solid. No, good list. Good list.
Is it though?
Yeah, I like that list. Listen, my list is the same as Michael's, except for Chito Vera, right? He's from Ecuador. He's kind of
good one.
He's kind of the godfather of Ecuador. I know it's a small little country, but he's the most important MMA fighter there right now.
That's a good choice, Halle.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
And Zhang Weili, if you have to have a number one, like Weili's, it's it. 1.4 billion people are in Japan, right? Like that's 5x.
It's China.
China. I'm sorry.
Hey,
China.
hey,
Yes.
but whatever.
Also, I feel like Yan Xiaonan might be annoyed by this
No,
conversation.
fair enough.
She's ranked number 2. That's my critique
fine.
of like both of you that put Yan. The whole point of this
That's
list.
crazy.
Billion people in Japan.
It's very tiny
China.
islands.
Apologies. China. Yes, thank
Let's
you.
stop talking about it. That's so bad.
Glass houses, Bisping. Glass houses.
I have to remember that.
The reason I didn't put Zhang Weili for China was because Yan
put him for Japan.
Xiaonan is also from China, and she's ranked number 2.
You sound like Donald Trump right now.
I know,
right? No.
She's huge in
She's
China.
huge in China.
Even bigger in Japan.
Huge.
I'm not gonna live that one down.
I took this assignment to mean like that they carry, as it says here, a singular weight. In other words, like they're really the only one, as Michael was for the UK for so very long. So for me, I have Dricus du Plessis on this list, of course. He is the only South African, and I'm not the first person to say this, so don't crucify me, the only person born in, still training in, and representing, and the entire continent of Africa. That is a singular weight. Shavkat Rakhmonov while he's not the only Kazakh fighter, you can argue that the other ones, can anyone name them other than Azat Maksimovic?
Well, biggest surprise, she has Shavkat on another list. Oh,
Yeah.
who would have
He
thunk
deserves
it?
to be there.
My goodness.
And then I put Ilia Topuria because although he's Georgian and born in Germany, he represents Spain. When he talks about bringing a UFC fight, he talks
You're right.
about bringing it to Spain. And when you talk about the crowds that Merab has brought out from Georgia, I mean, the crowd that Ilia Topuria brought out from Spain is absolutely crazy. This is just a morning weigh-in, 9 a.m. Like, a lot of people don't get to go to these official weigh-ins, but I can tell you from experience, they don't normally look like this. There's normally
That's-
no one in the room.
They're not supposed to be
That's
open to the public.
insane.
That's crazy.
As you say, RJ, they're not
Yeah.
even supposed to have access.
Yeah, normally they don't allow fans into those.
Is
It's
crazy.
wild.
I think just UFC security's dropping the ball around here. Like, how many people can sneak into the official weigh-ins?
But when you talk about somebody carrying a country, and I understand your point about China, but Zhang Weili, the first Chinese champion in a country
Yeah.
of that size and that magnitude, you talk about the revenue and the numbers going up. I mean, that's just, it's staggering. It's
I
astronomical.
considered her. Yeah, no, I did. But then
Well,
Yan
I-
Xiaonan was
I-
just staring at me, and I was like, sorry, I can't do it. 'cause
She's
She's not
also-
champ yet. She's
You,
champ.
but no, it's okay. You considered her. You thought about it, and you
Song
thought no.
Yudong.
No, you thought no.
There are enough Chinese fighters on the roster that it's not just her.
Spearheading a movement for the largest population. She's a female, but you considered it. And you said no.
She thought about it. She thought about it for a minute. Let's take a look at the scale. Still a few fighters yet to weigh in.